Welcome to the Clueless Couple Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Francina, and we're your go-to couple for real conversations on life, love, and everything in between. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and join us as we share our journey on
the Clueless Couple Podcast. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Clueless Couple Podcast. I'm Michael Tillman.
And I'm Francina Tillman. That was the radio voice. That was the broadcast journalism coming out of him. Yeah. So I'm a little bit distracted right now because I'm going to be paranoid this episode because you might see me looking down, looking off to the side. And that is because I'm trying to make sure that these microphones are picking up the way that they're supposed to be picking up, because our last episode was ghetto.
Well, let's ask the people. Maybe they didn't notice.
Listen, the microphones were not picking up, and so the audio was coming from the actual video recording device. So nothing was coming through the microphone. So the sound was whack. It was whack. And I tried everything that I could to fix it. And it not only happened on that episode, but there was another one that we recorded as well that we are just going to have to scrap because we're not doing that again. We said we were clueless, and it's okay to, make some mistakes here and there. But I cringed when I listened to that last episode. So if y'all see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to make sure that the monitor is working and picking up the way that it is supposed to.
Well, they know we struggling with our production value, but it'll improve over time.
Yeah, we'll get better. And I think we're actually doing pretty good for literally not knowing what we're doing, making it up as we are going along. So I think we're doing okay, but I just don't want to have another audio issue.
Right.
At least because when I'm listening to a podcast, if the sound is not right, I can't get into it.
It's going to bother you.
It bothers me, and I'm distracted. So I don't want that for our podcast. So if y'all see me looking down, if you see me looking off, I'm just trying to make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Right. So go ahead.
So with that said, how was your week or last week? Leading up to Mother's Day.
Yeah. So this episode is being shot after Mother's Day. My Mother's Day was amazing. I went on a girls' trip. I left my children and my husband.
And you should have saw how, sad she was.
Yeah,
she
right.
was leaving.
Yeah.
We had to push her out the door, slam the door. I had to change the locks on the door.
No, ma'am, and no, sir. I had the best Mother's Day. And I know some mothers are like, oh, it's Mother's Day. You're supposed to spend it with your children. No, I feel like Mother's Day is supposed to be about whatever the mother wants to do. And it should be about her having a break from the children. Like if she has, small
whatever
kids.
she wants. If that's what you want to do for Mother's Day.
And that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
So, so maybe we talk about my trip. So it was a girls' trip. It was me and two other friends. And we did what is called a pack up and go. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever heard. Listen, let's give Pack Up and Go a plug. This episode of the Clueless Couple Podcast is sponsored by Pack Up and Go. So now let me tell you about Pack Up and Go. So what you do is you go on their site. There's a questionnaire there, and it asks you all types of questions about, your previous travel, what you like to do when you travel, what you're looking for in travel, all of these things to kind of get to know you and what you're looking for in your trip. And then you set a budget and you send this off to them. And these people plan your trip for you from start to finish. The kicker is you have no idea where you're going until theoretically the day before you are to leave.
So I guess they're going to ask, well, why would someone trust that? Because if some people out there know you and
They don't know me.
they know that you
They know
like
that what?
control. You don't like
Moi?
you don't like to give control to people. So
Moi?
So if she's giving it great reviews,
it's gotta be okay.
Yeah.
So, but it is very strange because in this, I do know that I tend to struggle a little bit with control. I think the way you were saying it was a little bit harsh.
no, just like when we recently did the redesign of
Okay,
certain
all
areas.
right. I have a little bit of a control issue, but in this situation, I was so happy to give that to someone else because I hate planning trips. I love traveling. I love going on vacations, but I hate being the one to have to plan everything. And so for me, and I think because I was with friends, for me, it didn't matter really where we went because I knew that even if it was like a bust, we were going to have fun. We were going to laugh about it. We were going to talk about it. And I was with people that I love. So it didn't matter to me where we went. And I think that was the difference. I just wanted to be away. I hoped that it would be amazing, and it was, but yeah, I do. Maybe that is a little bit outside of my normal character.
So you
I do
say
like
the
to
day
control
of
things.
your trip, that's
Okay, so let me tell you how it works. So like I said, you enter all of this information, you enter the dates, that you want to travel. And we did a 4-day, I think we left on a Friday morning and came back on a Monday night. So a week before you travel, they send you information about the weather, where you're going to go. They tell you what you need to pack. They tell you what time you will need to be at the airport. They don't tell you what the airline is. They don't tell you anything other than this is the weather forecast for where you're going. These are the things that you might want to pack. And this is what time you will need to be at the airport. And that you get that email like a week before your travel date.
So what was your initial thought like when you saw the weather forecast? Did any destinations pop in your mind?
Okay, well, so I didn't even think about it. Honestly, I didn't care. So the weather, the forecast looked a little like it was rainy. It was supposed to be like rainy and like a little bit chilly. But I didn't care anything about that. Now, my friends that I was traveling with, they were doing the most because they were putting in like that weather forecast and like cross-referencing it in Google, trying to figure out possibilities of places that we were going to go. It was speculation like, oh, based on the weather forecast, I think, it might be New York, which I think all of us would have been a little bit disappointed had it been New York. But I think that was one of the things we put on our questionnaire about like, nobody want to go back to New York. And then the place that we ended up going, that was, one person's guess. But I wasn't doing all of that. I genuinely wanted to be surprised. I wanted to follow the process just as they outlined the process to be followed. I wanted to not know. So after that, they will send you a package in the mail, which will have information about where you're going. It'll have everything in that packet. And that is supposed to come the day before you're supposed to leave.
Wow.
And you're not supposed to open the envelope until you get to the airport. Like that's how much of a surprise they want it to be.
Wow.
Now, in our case, we had one person who is to remain nameless. She knows who she is. She got her envelope before the rest of us. She got it like 3 days before our trip. So of course she wanted to open it as soon as she got it. So she called us and was like, team meeting. We need a team meeting ASAP. So we get on the phone and she's like, I have my envelope. We have to open it now. We're like, no, we're supposed to wait.
Right.
She's like, And then she says, I don't like surprises. How can you sign up for a pack up and go, but you don't like surprises? So anyway, we ended up opening our envelope early. So we found out like maybe 3 days before we left that we were going to Denver, Colorado. So that's where Pack Up and Go sent us. And it was amazing. So they had our flights. And one person was coming from Ohio. The other two of us live here in South Carolina. And so our flights were the same. And then the girl that was coming from Ohio, they had it planned out that our flights landed exactly at the same time, like in Denver. So we met each other like at baggage claim right at the same time. So nobody like had to wait for, for anybody else.
Awesome.
They had Uber vouchers. They had hotel reservation. The hotel was amazing because we put information in. You know how I am about hotels.
Do I?
I don't just lay my head. I'm very particular.
Right. I would agree. About
a hotel.
So a lot of times she wants me to book the hotel, but I don't want to do it. Because, as this episode continues, they'll find out.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't like, anyway. I'm very particular about a hotel, but the hotel that they had us set up with was amazing. They had made dinner reservations for us. The very first night they had already paid for, the dinner and everything for us. We had a gift certificate for it. The other nights they had reservations made for us, but they hadn't paid for it just in case we wanted to, to go somewhere else. And the packet had all types of information about things to do in the area. They had us booked for like a wine and charcuterie tasting because the two girls that I travel with are wine heads. So they had that.
Meat
and cheese. We went on a food tour. I mean, they had everything was set up, and we were really amazed at how well they did. We went to a Black girl museum that was dedicated to all things Black girl magic. So it was amazing. So we spent the whole weekend there. That was my first time in Denver, and we had a good time. So my Mother's Day was amazing.
So they did a great job.
Pack Up and Go. Listen, Pack Up and Go. Y'all want to sponsor us? And I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do that for our summer vacation because I have not made plans for our summer vacation yet.
So that was the thing I was gonna say. It's not just girls' night out. It could be guys' night, couples' night,
but like a trip
or a trip. Yeah. Couples trip, guys trip.
So one of my other friends, she had used them to plan like an anniversary weekend trip for her and her husband, and she had nothing but great things to say about them as well. But it takes all of the guesswork out of it. My love language is like acts of service. Take something off of my plate and I will love you forever. So I will love Pack Up and Go forever because it was so easy. And they really took everything that we, entered into the questionnaire, and they planned an amazing trip for us. So I would definitely use them again.
So is it limited to only the continental U.S.? So
yes, from what I understand, it is only in the continental U.S., but there is another service that my friend found that does like international as well. And I need to look that up too, because I think that would be amazing. But I'm glad that we tried them on just a short trip. So now we know that, if we wanted to plan like an extended trip, that Pack Up and Go would be a safe way to go. So yeah, for our summer vacation, trying to figure out where to go is a pain.
Well, hey, Father's Day is coming up. So me and the guys, we're gonna
what guys? This is a whole nother episode. Okay, this is another episode that we need to have about why men don't have friends. You need some friends in your life.
So me and the guys, we're gonna go on this trip.
By the guys, he means him, Michael, and Matthew. I really want you to have some really close friends. I'm going to pray for that for you, that God will send godly influences into your life and that you'll have some close friends to take, trips and stuff. And, some women don't want their husbands to, I want you to Go hang with your friends sometimes, but you got to get some friends first.
Well, see, you haven't met my friends. That's the thing.
That's a problem. If you have friends that I have not met, that's
they're all scared of you. They think you mean. It's like, she's not gonna beat me up. They see this rolling of the neck and this
the neck roll
attitude.
Well, are they black?
Of course.
Well, if they black, they got wives just like me. So if they trying to act like they're afraid of me, now I know why. Like Larry, one of them, I was hot. Not at him, but I was venting to him about a situation where I was like ready to, take it to the parking lot with somebody. But I want you to get some friends. But we'll have another episode.
Yeah, that'll be something
about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, my Mother's Day was amazing, but I missed my son's last band concert.
It was awesome.
So that made me. I was very, very sad about that, but we had planned it so long ago. And I didn't want to have to cancel my trip, because I don't think I've ever missed anything like that of theirs.
Yeah, she's always been there.
And I think he was shocked that I was actually going to miss it as well.
Yeah.
Like when I told him, he thought I was joking. And I was like, no, man, like I'm not going to be there. And he was like, seriously? Because I've never missed anything. And I was definitely sad about that. But we have our little village, and he had some of his, he had Aunt Shirley and, some other people there to, to kind of support and stand in for me. So
yeah, and it was an eventful weekend for you, and then going into that following week for me as well.
So as soon as I came back,
the
very next day, you left town.
Yes, for work.
Yeah.
And initially you said, well, I'm not sure if my flight I'm going to make it has been kind of delayed. So I was like, man, how is this going to work out? Because
my flight
when
was
you
delayed.
were coming, I was supposed to be leaving.
Yeah.
But everything worked out. And
you had to go to Charleston?
Went to North Charleston
for 2 days.
For 2 days. And it was great. But after that long trip, I had to come back to Charlotte.
And the next day.
And that's where the adventure began.
Yeah, that's what this episode is about. So we had a busy week. So I was gone that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then Michael left Tuesday. Monday night.
Yeah, you came in Monday evening. I left Monday evening.
Yes. Okay.
I don't
think that's right. But anyway.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I came back Wednesday evening.
Came back Wednesday evening, and then Thursday morning, bright and early at 5:30, we had to leave to go to D.C., Virginia, D.C. area. That's what this episode is about. So, you want to go?
Well, it was the 8th grade, Michael's 8th grade school trip. I guess every year they go on a 8th grade field trip to D.C., and, I was glad for him to get off because, like you said earlier as well, that he never asked to go anywhere. He likes to stay in the house, and that irritates both of us, and just play video games. But when he had the opportunity to go with his friends to D.C., it was like, yeah, we're all for it. To a certain extent.
Right. I was like, were we all for it?
Yeah, we were for it, but with limitations.
Okay. Yeah, we were for it simply because he wanted to go, and he very rarely asks us to do anything like that. So we were like, oh, he wants to do it? Like, we got to figure out a way to let him go.
Right.
Now, was I extremely enthusiastic about sending my baby away for 4 nights? Was it 4 nights?
4 nights.
Without me or his father or anybody in our family or anybody that we knew, really, for that matter. We don't know them people. No, I was not. I was not.
So we had to be like a arm length away in case he needed something.
Okay, but first, before we get, so would you have been okay with sending him were you okay? So I know you were okay. You wanted him to go because he wanted to go, but how did you feel about him going, like in general, in terms of without us?
Well, I could only speak if I was him in his shoes.
No, I want
Being
to
a
know.
parent, okay, yeah, being
as
a
a parent,
parent, I would have did what we did, tagged along.
okay, because I know some people will make it seem like it was just me, like I was the helicopter
Right.
parent.
Yeah, I would have tagged along, but he wouldn't have known I was there probably.
Okay, all right. So let's get into what happened. So he wanted to go on this 8th grade trip. We wanted him to go because he wanted to go. However, we have some very real concerns about him going on this trip.
Right.
There were maybe 200 kids. I don't know how many kids. It was 5 charter buses full of kids, and parents weren't allowed to chaperone. It was just teachers and like administrators. So they said parents, wouldn't be chaperones. Okay, that's fine. But there were a lot of people, a lot of kids going. Everybody was excited. But I want to say there were maybe 10, 15 black kids at the most, which is, kind of, his school is predominantly white. I think that's safe to say. And, there were some issues kind of, in the past, kind of as it relates to that had been brought to our attention.
Right.
The other thing is, yes, teachers and administrators, that's great. I am, the number one fan of a teacher. I think they deserve all of the respect in the world. Yes, hand clap to teachers. However, not all teachers are good in the sense of, I feel like some of them are just teachers because they're stuck, and so they're mean to the kids. They can kind of be, nitpicky, whatever. I don't know these people. So me sending my son on this trip, I had some hesitation, right? So the only way that he could go was if we came along with him. Now, and I told him, and he was fine with it. I told him we won't be in your space.
Right.
We won't be all up on you. We won't, just kind of be aggravating or whatever. You may see us, you may not even see us, but just know that we will be there. So when they left, the bus left at 5:30 Thursday morning. We left at 5:30 Thursday morning. They stayed in Jamestown, or their first stop was in Jamestown. Our first stop was in Jamestown.
And, that was just a coincidence, right?
Yeah, right?
That we were there having lunch and all of a sudden.
So I'm going to tell you why I wanted to do it the first day. So I wanted to make sure that he saw us the first day. And I also wanted the teachers and the administrators to see us that first day, because when the vice principal saw us, he was like, whoa, Mr. and Mrs. Tillman, hey, what are you guys doing here? We were like, oh, what are you guys doing here? So I wanted them to know, listen, his parents are close by. So if anything pops off, good, bad, ugly, this one right here, Michael Tillman, his mom and daddy are at a moment's notice, So they stayed in Virginia the first night. We stayed in Virginia the first night. Right down the street.
And so backing up a little, she, when we first decided to make the decision to go, she was like, well, can you book the hotel rooms? And I'm like, well, sure. I could just to the hotel. I'll book the hotels that the school booked. There shouldn't be any problem. So, hey, I didn't have a problem doing that. I was like, well, she shouldn't have a problem either. Until
the first hotel was fine.
Yeah.
That second hotel was trash. And I was very disappointed that they had those kids staying in the hotel. Now, I'm hoping that because they had us on, we might as well have been in the basement.
We were in the basement.
Okay. because the laundry room was like right next door to our room.
Yeah, the boiler.
It was like
room.
the boiler. All of the, like it was dingy. It was dirty. It was nasty. There was no way I was staying there. That was just. And so I'm hoping that the rooms on the main floors, the main levels,
because we never went
were nicer.
Yeah.
For the sake of the kids, because there's no way I was staying there. Those rooms were filthy.
Yeah, the ceiling was probably about a foot over my head, and I was like, man,
Yeah, Michael would have stayed.
Yeah, I'm that guy,
No, there's no way I was staying there. So we had to find a new hotel. We had to find a new hotel once we got to DC. But he had a good trip. He enjoyed himself.
Yeah,
I could tell that he was, having a good time with his friends. We saw him. There was one clip that I did on social media because I had asked Michael to send me a selfie. I didn't want to be in his face again, but I needed to see his face just to make sure that he was okay. I said, Michael, send me a selfie. Instead of him sending me a selfie, he sent me a picture of his feet. Then he sent me like a picture of a lake or something. And I was like, Michael, if you don't send me a selfie, okay, you're going to regret it.
And he know his mama now.
And he knows his mama. He's not new here. So he didn't send me a selfie. So guess what? And I will say the school did an absolutely amazing job communicating exactly where they were when they woke up in the morning, when they left the hotel, each museum, each destination they got to, they sent notifications out. We always knew, where they were. Plus we have Life 360 on his phone. So we knew, we could track him. And so he didn't send me a selfie. So we saw that they were at the Holocaust Museum. So guess where we went? To the Holocaust Museum. And we pulled up on him.
Yeah. And
his friends saw us before he did. And he was like, oh God, no. Like when he saw us. But I secretly think he liked it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You think he...
And I'm sure, this one over here, she liked the compliments. One of Michael's friends was like...
They love me.
Hi, Miss Tillman. You look, may I say that you look more beautiful in person? Yeah,
so he was trying to...
He was trying to suck
up. He was trying to suck up. He was like, yeah. He was like, oh my God, like you're so much more beautiful than I thought or something, where he was trying to, suck up to me. Yeah. But... Look, I took it.
Yeah, she did.
I took it, but I think he liked it. Like he wasn't mortified. Like I think some kids would be.
Though, that we were.
I think he had comfort that we were near, and his friends were. I think his friends liked it too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think. Nobody was like picking at him like, oh my God, Michael, can't believe your parents are here. They started calling us for stuff. Mm-hmm. Like we're 10 o'clock at night. We're in Walmart trying to find an HDMI cable to take to their room because his friends, were calling saying that they needed an HDMI cable so they could play their little video games or whatever. So they called us. We, got that. Michael needed some, water. So we're, taking water and stuff. So, they liked having us there. Yeah. But I often wonder, were we doing too much? Are we doing too much?
No, and let's back up. To me, it wasn't the fact that, okay, it was approximately 200 students and a handful of, black kids. People, right? Mm-hmm. But there's some background to it, the history that we know there's some issues that they're dealing with at that school. Yeah. So that's why it was more comforting for us to be close. There. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that is why I don't want to go too far into that part of it because
there's a reason. Like we didn't just follow along because we're helicopter parents, which to some extent I probably am, and I recognize that. But there were some real concerns that we had just kind of based on some of the things that they have encountered, and we've had to try to navigate with them. Right. Being at that school, so. Him being on a 4-night trip with those situations still out there was not something that we were going to be comfortable with.
But overall, I mean, the school did a great job.
School did
the
an
kids
amazing
had fun,
job.
And he had fun.
He had fun. Yeah. Yeah. And so sometimes it's hard to find stuff that Michael, enjoys. So I was happy for him. I was happy that he was able to go, happy that we were able to let him go because it wasn't cheap either. Yeah. And that probably had something to do with why the demographics were the way that they were in terms of, who was on the trip,
Right,
because it was not an inexpensive trip. So not every parent, sadly would be able to afford to, to send their kids on that trip. So I think they might have had scholarship opportunities. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, I guess, what do you guys think? Were we doing the most by following our 13-year-old who is now 14? Today is his 14th birthday. He's going to high school. I'm not ready. But anyway, were we doing the most? Were we doing too much by following him on his 8th grade trip? What do y'all think?
We had fun as well. So
yeah, we had fun too. And
we wasn't like hovering over him at all.
No, we saw him maybe 4 times. Mm-hmm. And each time we saw him, it may have been for like 5 minutes. Because one time he came to find us because he needed an umbrella. Mm-hmm. So he liked having us there. He was not at all like upset about us being there.
Yeah.
But no, we definitely let him, have his space. 3, maybe 4 times we saw him just for a quick minute, just to lay our eyes on him and to let him know that we, were laying our eyes on him. But other than that, he didn't see us. We weren't all over him. So.
And he was like, Mike Tillman, your mom is the coolest. So, of course, she wanted to buy him everything. What else y'all
want? What y'all want? Who want? Y'all want candy? Y'all want potato chips? What y'all want? Anything y'all want, let me know. Because guess what? Mike Tillman's mom is the coolest. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I got my earrings on. I bought from DC, bamboo earrings.
Oh, wow.
At least 2 pair. Anyway. All right. So that's it for this episode, I think. What y'all think? Were we doing the most? Do y'all think that we should have just let him go without us? Let us know. Yeah? You got anything else?
No.
All right. I think that's it for this episode of the Clueless Couple Podcast.
For this episode of the Clueless Couple episode.
For this episode of the Clueless Couple episode.
See, I'm messing up already.
Doing the most. When I asked you to do your radio voice the other day, you didn't want to do it. Now you can't stop doing it.
No, I was just doing it for this episode.
Oh, okay.
I'll switch it up to something else next episode.
Anyway, all right. Bye, y'all.
So that's the end of another episode of the Clueless Couple Podcast.
Remember, you can catch up on past episodes anytime, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
You can also connect with us on social media because we love hearing from our listeners.
That's right. Until next week, keep loving, keep laughing, and keep living those unforgettable moments together.
Bye y'all.